Have you noticed how most people lose their day before it even begins? They wake up late, scroll endlessly, and surrender their mind before the world even demands it. But you're here for something sharper. Because what you do before 8 a.m. decides whether you lead your life or chase it. The morning is not just time. It's a battlefield, and most people walk into it unarmed. A Stoic doesn't. Before the noise, before the chaos, before the demands, a Stoic claims control. Not later, not someday. Before 8 a.m. If you miss this window, you don't just lose time. You lose authority over your own mind. Because these aren't habits. They are weapons. And if you apply them, your mornings will stop being weak and start becoming dangerous. Before we go deeper, if you value discipline, clarity, and power over your life, subscribe. Stay close to content that strengthens your mind, not distracts it. Now understand this. The first thing you must do before 8 a.m. is wake up with intention, not reaction. No phone, no messages, no outside voices. A Stoic begins the day from within, because whoever speaks to your mind first controls it, and it should be you. Sit up, breathe slowly, feel the silence. This is where power begins. While others rush, you stabilize. While others panic, you prepare. Your calm is your advantage. Next, you must confront reality, not escape it. A Stoic doesn't wake up hoping for an easy day. He expects difficulty. He welcomes it, because expectation removes shock. Say it clearly in your mind. Today will test me, and I am ready. This single thought will make you unshakable, because nothing surprises a prepared mind. Now move your body, not for aesthetics, for dominance. Your body is the first thing you must command each day. Train it, push it, wake it up. Even 10 minutes of intensity is enough, because discipline in the body becomes discipline in the mind. If you can control your body early, you can control your choices later. After movement, step into stillness again. But this time, reflect. Think about who you are becoming, not who you were, not your past mistakes, not your regrets. A Stoic focuses forward. Ask yourself, what kind of man or woman will I be today? Answer it with clarity, because identity drives action, and action shapes your life. Now remove distraction. Before 8 a.m., your environment must be clean. Not perfect, but controlled. No clutter, no chaos. Your surroundings should reflect order, because disorder outside creates disorder inside. And a Stoic does not tolerate internal chaos. Next comes one of the most powerful practices. Silence. No music, no noise, just you and your thoughts. This is where most people fail, because silence reveals truth, and truth is uncomfortable. But this is exactly why you must face it. Sit with your thoughts. Let them speak. Observe them without reacting. This builds control, because you are not your thoughts. You are the one who decides which thoughts matter. Now write, not for creativity, for clarity. Write what you need to do today, but don't list everything. Only what matters. Only what moves your life forward. A Stoic values focus over busyness. 3 priorities. No more, no less, because a distracted man finishes nothing, but a focused man dominates. Then a visualize, not fantasy, reality. See yourself executing the day, facing pressure, handling challenges, remaining calm. See it clearly, feel it, because the mind performs what it rehearses. And when the moment comes, you won't hesitate. You'll act. Now here's what most people ignore. Gratitude, but not soft gratitude. Strong gratitude. Be grateful for struggle, for pressure, for responsibility, because these are signs that your life has weight, and a life with weight has meaning. A Stoic doesn't complain about the burden. He carries it with pride. Before 8 a.m., you must also eliminate weakness. Identify one thing you're avoiding, one thing you know you should do, but don't, and decide, I will face it today, not tomorrow, not later, today, because avoidance is the root of mediocrity, and confrontation is the path to growth. Now, discipline your consumption. No social media, no mindless scrolling. Not yet. Protect your mind. Because early exposure to noise destroys focus. You don't need the world's opinions before you build your own. Guard your attention. It's your most valuable asset. Then, read something that strengthens you. Not entertainment. Not distraction. Something that sharpens your thinking. Even 5 minutes is enough. Because what you feed your mind shapes your perspective. And perspective shapes your decisions. Now understand this deeply. Everything you do before 8 a.m. is a vote. A vote for the person you are becoming. Weak or strong. Distracted or focused. Reactive or disciplined. You cannot escape this. Every morning you choose. And over time, these choices define you. Most people think success is built in big moments. It's not. It's built here, in silence, in discipline, in the unseen hours, before the world wakes up. This is where separation happens. This is where you become different. And different is powerful. Because average people don't wake up with purpose. They wake up with pressure. But you wake up with control. Now let me ask you something. What would happen if you mastered your mornings? If every day started with clarity, strength, and focus? Your life would not look the same. Because momentum begins early. And once you build it, it carries you. But if you lose the morning, you spend the rest of the day catching up. Always behind. Always reacting. That's not power. That's survival. And you're not here to survive. You're here to lead. So before 8 a.m., become the person your future requires. Not later. Not someday. Now. Because time doesn't wait. And neither should you. If this mindset speaks to you, subscribe quietly. Not for me. For yourself. To stay aligned with discipline. And comment one word. Control. If you're serious about taking your mornings back. Because saying it is easy. But living it is where everything changes. Now remember this. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. And your morning is the foundation of them all. So tomorrow, before 8 a.m., show up in silence, in discipline, in control, because that's where your real life begins. Most people don't fail in the morning. They collapse right after it. They start strong, then drift. And drift is dangerous, because drift feels harmless, until you realize it has taken you somewhere you never chose. A Stoic does not drift. A Stoic directs. So after you've built your morning, you must protect it. Guard it like your life depends on it. Because it does. The world will try to pull you back into noise, notifications, opinions, urgency, chaos. It will whisper, just check one thing. Just relax for a moment. And that is how discipline dies. Not in one moment, but in small permissions. You must become ruthless with your attention. Because attention is power. Where your attention goes, your life follows. So ask yourself now, who controls your attention? Is it you, or is it everything around you? Be honest. Because if it's not you, then you are being led. And a Stoic is never led blindly. Now listen carefully. After 8 a.m., your real test begins. This is where the world meets your preparation. And most people break here, not because they are weak, but because they are unprepared. But you've already armed yourself. So now you execute. No hesitation, no overthinking, no delay. You attack your first priority immediately. Not the easiest task, not the most comfortable one. The one that matters most. Because winning early in the day creates momentum. And momentum is a force most people underestimate. Once it starts, carries you. But if you delay, you lose it. And without momentum, everything feels heavier. So move, even if you don't feel ready. Even if your mind resists. Because discipline is not about feeling ready. It's about acting despite resistance. This is where you separate from the average. Average people wait to feel motivated. You don't. You move anyway. Now understand this deeper. Your mind will fight you. It will look for comfort. It will suggest distractions. It will offer excuses that sound reasonable. Do it later. You deserve a break. This isn't urgent. But a Stoic sees through this, because not all thoughts are truth. Some are traps. And if you follow every thought, you lose control. So instead of obeying your thoughts, observe them, question them, and then decide. This is power. Not reacting automatically, but choosing deliberately. Now, as the day progresses, pressure will increase. Unexpected problems, difficult people, situations you cannot control. This is where most people lose themselves. They react emotionally. They complain. They blame. But a Stoic does something different. He pauses, even for a second, because in that pause, there is control, and control changes everything. Instead of reacting, you respond. Instead of panic, you think. Instead of anger, you stay grounded. This is not weakness. This is mastery, because anyone can react, but very few can remain composed under pressure. And that is what makes you dangerous. Now let's go deeper. There will be moments today when things don't go your way. Plans will fail. People will disappoint you. Effort may not give immediate results. And this is where your mindset is tested, because it's easy to stay disciplined when things are working. But what about when they're not? This is where a Stoic mindset becomes essential. You must remind yourself, it is not events that disturb me, but my judgment of them. So change the judgment. Instead of seeing problems, see training. Instead of seeing obstacles, see opportunities. Because every challenge carries a lesson, and every lesson sharpens you. This is how you grow, not by avoiding difficulty, but by facing it fully. Now here's something most people don't want to hear. You will feel tired. You will feel resistance. You will feel like stopping. And that's normal. But what you do in that moment defines you, because fatigue is not a signal to quit. It is a test. Question: how badly do you want control? And your answer is not spoken. It is shown through your actions. So when you feel like stopping, you push a little further. Not recklessly, but intentionally. Because every time you do, you build resilience. And resilience is what carries you when motivation disappears. Now let's talk about something deeper. Identity. Because everything you do is tied to who you believe you are. If you see yourself as weak, you will act weak. If you see yourself as disciplined, you will act disciplined. So the real question is, who are you becoming? Not what you say, not what you wish, but what your actions prove every single day. Because identity is not built by words. It is built by repetition. So every time you choose discipline, you reinforce that identity. Every time you resist distraction, you strengthen it. And over time, it becomes who you are. Not something you try to be, but something you cannot escape. Now imagine that. Imagine becoming someone who no longer negotiates with excuses. Someone who doesn't need motivation, because discipline is automatic. That is power. And it starts with your mornings. But it doesn't end there. You must carry it through the day. Now, as the day begins to slow, most people relax too early. They abandon structure. They drift again. But you don't. Because how you end your day determines how you start the next one. So before the night takes over, you reflect. Not emotionally, but honestly. Ask yourself, did I act with discipline today? Did I stay in control? Where did I slip? No excuses. No lies. Just truth. Because awareness is the first step to improvement. Then you adjust. You don't dwell on failure. You learn from it, and you prepare for tomorrow. This is the cycle. Morning discipline, daily execution, evening reflection. Repeat again and again and again until it becomes your nature. Now here's the truth most people avoid. This path is not easy. It's not comfortable. It's not exciting every day. It requires sacrifice. You will say no to things others say yes to. You will wake up when others sleep. You will work when others relax. And at times, It will feel isolating. But understand this, you are not doing what is easy. You are doing what is necessary, because average is crowded, but discipline is rare, and rare is valuable. Now ask yourself one final question. Do you want comfort, or do you want control? Because you cannot have both. Comfort keeps you where you are. Control moves you forward. So choose, not in words, but in action. Tomorrow morning, before 8 a.m., when the alarm goes off, when your body feels heavy, when your mind says stay, that is the moment. That is where your real life is decided. Not later, not after you feel better. Right there. Will you get up, or will you surrender? Because that single decision repeats every day, and over time, it becomes your life. So don't wait for a perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. There is only now, and what you choose to do with it. So when the morning comes, show up, not halfway, not uncertain, fully, with intention, with discipline, with control, because the world does not reward potential. It rewards execution, and execution begins before 8 a.m. Stay sharp, stay focused, and remember, you are either building control or losing it. But don't relax yet, because this is where most people make a fatal mistake. They think understanding is enough. It isn't. Understanding without action is self-deception, and self-deception is the most dangerous weakness of all, because it convinces you that you're progressing when you're standing still. A Stoic does not confuse knowledge with power. Power is applied. So now the question becomes, will you apply this? Or will you admire it? Be careful, because admiration feels productive, but it changes nothing. Execution is what transforms you, and execution requires something most people avoid: discomfort. Not the kind you talk about, the kind you feel, the kind that hits when the alarm rings, when your body resists, when your mind begs for delay. That moment is not random. It's a test, and most people fail it silently. They negotiate. Just 5 more minutes. I'll start tomorrow. And just like that, control is gone. Not stolen. Given away. Understand this clearly. Every time you delay what must be done, you weaken your authority over yourself. And once authority is weak, discipline collapses. So you must become strict. Not with others, but with yourself. Your standards must be higher than your feelings. Because feelings change. Standards don't. Now let's go deeper into something most people never face. Your hidden habits. The ones no one sees. The ones you justify. The ones you say don't matter. They matter more than anything. Because what you do in private builds who you become in public. You can pretend in front of others, but you cannot hide from yourself. And a Stoic lives in truth, not illusion. So ask yourself, what are you doing when no one is watching? Are you building discipline or feeding weakness? Be honest, because that answer is your real identity. Now listen carefully. There will be days when everything feels off. Your energy is low. Your focus is weak. Your drive is gone. This is where most people give up. They say, today is not my day. But a Stoic does not rely on good days. He creates consistency, regardless of how he feels, because consistency is what builds power, not intensity. Anyone can be intense for a day. Very few can stay disciplined for years. So even on your worst day, you move, maybe slower, maybe with less energy, but you do not stop, because stopping breaks momentum, and rebuilding momentum is harder than maintaining it. Now understand something critical. Your environment is always influencing you. Silently, constantly. If your environment is weak, you will feel weak. If it's distracted, you will become distracted. So you must design your environment carefully. Remove what weakens you. Add what strengthens you. Because willpower alone is not enough. Structure supports discipline. And discipline needs support. Now let's talk about time. Because time is the one thing you cannot control, but you can control how you use it. Most people waste it unconsciously, scrolling, waiting, avoiding, and then they complain, "I don't have enough time." That's not true. They have enough distraction. A Stoic treats time differently. Every hour has purpose. Not rigid, but intentional. Because when time has direction, life has direction. So stop asking, "Where did my day go?" Start deciding, "Where will I put my day?" That shift changes everything. Now here's a hard truth. No one is coming to save you. No perfect moment. No sudden motivation. No external force. It's just you, your decisions, your habits, your discipline. And that can feel heavy, but it's also powerful. Because if no one controls your life, then you can. Fully, completely, without limitation. But only if you take responsibility. Not partially, fully. No blaming, no excuses, just ownership. Because ownership creates control, and control creates freedom. Now let's go even deeper. Fear. Not loud fear, quiet fear. The fear of failure. The fear of judgment. The fear of not being enough. Most people don't even recognize it, but it shapes their actions. It makes them hesitate. It makes them delay, keeps them small. But a Stoic faces fear directly, not by eliminating it, but by moving through it. Because courage is not the absence of fear. It's action despite it. So when fear appears today, don't retreat. Step forward. Because every time you face fear, it loses power, and you gain it. Now understand this. Your life is not changed by what you intend. It is changed by what you repeat. Daily, quietly, consistently. So stop chasing big transformations. Focus on small, controlled actions, done every day, without fail. Because small actions compound, and over time, they create massive change. But only if you stay consistent. Now here's where most people break. They start strong. They feel motivated. They follow the routine. And then, they stop. Why? Because they expect fast results. And when they don't see them, they lose belief. But a Stoic is not driven by immediate results. He is driven by process. He trusts the system, even when results are invisible. Because he understands what you build internally shows externally later. So be patient, not passive. Patient. There's a difference. Passive waits. Patient works and trusts. Now imagine this version of yourself, waking up before 8 a.m. every single day, clear, focused, disciplined, no hesitation, no negotiation, just action. Imagine the momentum, the clarity, the control. That's not unrealistic. That's built, day by day, choice by choice, but only if you commit, not emotionally, but decisively. Because emotion fades, decision remains. So decide now, not tomorrow, not later. Now, who are you going to be? The one who knows, or the one who acts? Because knowledge without action is wasted potential, and wasted potential is one of the greatest regrets in life. Don't let that be you. Now listen closely. This is where everything comes together. Your mornings, your discipline, your focus, your control, they are not separate. They are one system, a system that either builds you or breaks you. And every day, you feed it with your actions. So be intentional, because nothing in your life is neutral. Everything is either helping you or hurting you. Now as you move forward from this moment, remember this feeling, this clarity, this awareness. Don't let it fade, because the world will try to take it. Slowly, silently, but you must hold it, protect it, strengthen it, every day. And if you do, your life will change, not suddenly, but permanently, because real change is not loud. It's quiet. It happens in the mornings, in the choices, in the discipline no one sees. That's where your future is built. So tomorrow, when it's still dark, when the world is quiet, when most people are still asleep, that's your moment, not to think, not to hesitate, but to act, with precision, with discipline, with control, because that is where you separate yourself. That is where you become dangerous. And once you reach that level, you don't go back. You don't need motivation. You don't need reminders, because discipline becomes who you are. And when that happens, your life is no longer random. It is directed by you. So choose carefully, act deliberately, and remember, every morning before 8 a.m., you are either rising into control or sinking into weakness. There is no middle, only choice. So now you understand. This was never just about mornings. It was about control. And control is rare, because most people will hear this, feel something, and do nothing. They'll go back to comfort, back to distraction, back to the same life they complain about. But you don't get to pretend anymore, because now you see it clearly. Every morning before 8 a.m., you are either building power or feeding weakness. There is no in-between, no neutral ground, only direction. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. So the next time your alarm sounds, don't think, don't negotiate, don't hesitate, move, because that single moment is where your identity is decided. Not in words, not in intention, in action. And if you keep choosing discipline, again and again and again, there will come a day when waking up early is no longer hard, when focus is no longer forced, when control is no longer something you chase. It becomes who you are. And at that point, you're no longer trying to change your life. You've already changed it, quietly, powerfully, completely. Now before you leave, if this message sharpened your mind even slightly, subscribe quietly, not for entertainment, but to stay aligned with discipline. Like this video so it reaches others who are still asleep. Share it with someone who needs to wake up. And in the comments, write one word, control, only if you mean it, because saying it is easy. Living it is where the real work begins. And if you're serious, don't stop here.